My CEO husband believed that pregnant women had zero intelligence. Any expense I made over $20 required his approval. The day I had a threatened miscarriage, he rejected my request for $500 for the procedure. Do you have any idea that $500 is what many people live on for a month? I don't earn money for you to leech off me. Because the procedure was delayed, my baby couldn't be saved. As I was getting off the operating table, his childhood sweetheart, who had just returned to the country, posted a photo on social media. In the photo was the $5 million heart of the ocean necklace. The caption read, "Thank you for spoiling me so extravagantly. Just like when we were young." She tagged Noah. I didn't throw a fit and start a huge fight like I used to. Instead, I liked the post. That's nice. Let him spoil you for the rest of your life. Audrey, what did you mean by that comment you left for Chloe? Everyone was having a great time, but because of what you said, she's been blaming herself ever since. She just got back to the country. What's wrong with me giving her a gift? We've known each other since we were kids. Can you stop being so blindly Jill? Before he could finish the word jealous, I cut in. Is that so? I'm sorry then. It won't happen again. He suddenly fell silent on the other end. Every time we fought over Chloe, I would scream and demand an explanation from him, even though it always ended badly. And even though I was always the one left most hurt, I could never stop myself from needing his reassurance the next time, especially after I got pregnant. This was the first time I had accepted his accusation without any argument. He didn't know that this miscarriage had already forced me to reevaluate our entire relationship. I hung up before he could reply. Just as I deleted the comment, Noah called back. His tone was much softer this time. I wasn't trying to blame you. It's just... Never mind. Where are you? The hospital. Okay. You probably don't have money for a cab. Right. I'll come get you. The hospital corridor was unlit and unheated. On a snowy New Year's Eve. It was cold. My hands, red from the chill, tightened around my phone. A sense of irony washed over me. Aren't you curious why I'm at the hospital? From his end of the line, I could hear Chloe's crying. Noah, is Audrey still mad at me? Was I really that out of line? I didn't think she would take it the wrong way. I feel so terrible right now. Can you stay with me? My voice was cold as I spoke. Noah. He had just said he was coming to get me. There was a pause on the line. I'll have the driver pick you up. Then he hung up, listening to the empty dial tone. I closed my phone, bowed my head, and buried my face in my hands. As expected, I was the one abandoned again, just like all the times before. But for some reason, not a single tear fell. I didn't even feel sad. I just felt a pang of sorrow for myself. I stood at the hospital entrance as the cold wind whipped through my only long down coat, sending shivers through me. A taxi driver, rushing home, stopped and rolled down his window. Heading home. I can give you a free ride home for New Year's Eve dinner. I managed a faint smile. Thank you. But someone is coming to get me. Taxis came and went, but Noah's driver never appeared. He probably forgot about me again. I didn't bombard him with calls demanding he come immediately, as I would have in the past. Instead, I raised my hand and hailed a passing cab. I knew I had no money on me, but I couldn't bring myself to start another fight with him. As the car reached the entrance to our neighborhood, massive fireworks suddenly exploded in the sky, illuminating half the night. I stared, stunned. The taxi driver explained with a smile. I heard Mrs. Astor was upset. So Mr. Astor booked this whole fireworks show just for her. Mrs. Astor. I turned to look at the driver, and he nodded. Yeah, I heard she just got back today. There was some misunderstanding over Mr. Astor and another woman. So he decided to splurge for his lady. They say one of these bursts costs $10,000. And Mr. Astor booked the whole display. TSK, TSK, TSK. So I was the other woman. I lowered my gaze and smiled silently. The driver continued his commentary. It's good when the rich waste money like this. At least regular folks like us get to enjoy the show. I looked out the window. Yes, it is. Such a grand display of affection made it hard to tell who the real Mrs. Astor was. No wonder picking me up from the hospital was such a trivial matter compared to making his beauty smile. Miss. The driver's voice pulled me back to reality. He gave me an apologetic smile. You haven't paid yet. Oh, I took off my diamond ring and placed it on the passenger's side dashboard. Keep the change. Hey, miss, this is too much, miss. The driver shouted after me. I walked into the neighborhood without looking back. Just as I was about to step into the dark villa, a massive burst of light erupted behind me. I turned around. Even more brilliant fireworks formed a giant rose in the sky. A fleet of drones arranged themselves into a sentence. Love like we were young. At any cost. I imagined his childhood sweetheart, somewhere far away, covering her mouth. The dazzling fireworks lit up half the city, leaving only me shrouded in shadow. I took a few steps forward, into the area illuminated by the glow. This was the warmth my husband had created for another woman. I briefly borrowed a bit of its radiance, clasped my hands together, and faced the sky full of fireworks. Happy New Year, Audrey. Back in the cold, empty villa, I curled up on the sofa and called my best friend, Mia. A gentle voice answered. Short on cash again. How much do you need? My eyes stung. Every time Noah rejected one of my important financial requests, Mia would cover the cost for me. I shook my head. No, that's not it. I was wondering, is the company still hiring? There was silence on the other end for a full 5 seconds. Then, Mia asked in disbelief, are you coming back? Have you finally come to your senses? Yes. Mia and I started a company together after graduation. Just as our business was taking off, I met Noah, who was in talks with us for a partnership. He was also the man I'd had a crush on since college. Those days were wonderful. After we sealed the deal, he drove me back to the office. As I got out of the car and walked away, he suddenly called out to me. How about you stop working? I laughed. If I don't work, will you support me? I'll support you. Mia had warned me countless times that a woman should never give up her career, especially when our company was in a period of rapid growth. She repeatedly painted a picture of our future, where the company would flourish and I would be a multimillionaire. But back then, all I could do was blush and say, if it's him, I'm willing to be a housewife. I gave all my shares to Mia and devoted myself wholeheartedly to being his perfect partner. Yet, time and again, I was the one left abandoned and helpless. Of course we're hiring. Mia's voice was thick with emotion, almost like she was crying. Are you serious? You're not just saying this in a fit of anger after a fight with him, are you? I chuckled softly. I swear I'm not. Then I want to open an overseas branch. And I need a trailblazer like you. Are you willing to go abroad with me? Of course. That's fantastic. Start studying for your IELTS exam. You just need a 6.0. It'll help you. Well, leave next month. After hanging up, I dug out my long-forgotten IELTS prep books. I should have taken the test long ago. But then I met Noah. My English was average, so I had to start cramming immediately. My body was still weak from the procedure. I wrapped myself in a blanket in the study and dove into essay structures. Before I knew it, I had fallen asleep at my desk. In a state of half-consciousness, I heard a commotion outside the door. If I drop you home, will Audrey get mad at me? It was followed by Noah's slightly drunk voice. She won't. She'll just cry and beg me not to leave her. Noah, be careful. A sudden cry, and the study door was thrown open, jolting me awake. Chloe was holding onto Noah's arm as he leaned against her, reeking of alcohol. He looked up and saw me sitting at the desk. You're back. I rubbed my eyes and yawned. Chloe suddenly let go of Noah, looking flustered. I'm so sorry, Audrey. Noah had too much to drink. There were no cabs around, so I had to. Oh, thank you. I didn't ask what had happened to Noah's driver. Instead, I smiled faintly and stepped forward to take her hand. Your hands are freezing. Thank you for bringing him home. Chloe froze. Even Noah frowned slightly. Audrey, what's with the sarcastic tone? I'm not being sarcastic. Audrey, I really didn't mean for this to happen. Chloe suddenly started to cry. If you're going to blame someone, blame me. Please don't let this come between you and Noah. I pressed a hot water bottle into Chloe's hands. Take this. You don't want to catch a cold. Chloe's words were cut off. She clutched the hot water bottle, a hint of resentment in her eyes as she looked at me. I walked towards the bedroom on my own. If you don't mind, you can sleep in the guest room. I'm tired, so I won't be staying up with you two. Good night. With that, I went into the bedroom and closed the door. Outside, the two of them stood, stunned. It wasn't long after I closed my eyes that the bedroom door opened again. Audrey. A few soft calls. I was sleepy and didn't want to respond. Audrey. I know you're not asleep. Noah's voice was tinged with anger. I forced my eyes open. What is it? I sent her home. Oh, you didn't let her stay the night. His brow furrowed. Audrey. We're childhood friends. I hope you won't be blindly jealous. Jealous of what? I smiled. I was just worried about a girl driving home alone so late at night. Noah was taken aback. I turned over and went back to sleep. A warm body pressed against my back, his breath tickling my ear. Don't you have anything else to say? I kept my eyes closed. Like what? At a time like this, don't you usually have a lot to say? I opened my eyes. He was right. Every time I saw him with another woman, I would have a meltdown, demanding he prove his innocence. Your childhood friends. What is there for me to be jealous of? Noah's muscles tensed. For the first time in one of our confrontations, he was the one left speechless. As I drifted off, a hand settled on my waist. I flinched and quickly pushed it away. I don't want to. He wrapped his arms around me from behind. It's okay. Didn't the doctor at the last checkup say it was fine? I gripped his hand tightly. Are you really not curious why I went to the hospital today? My financial request had clearly stated it was for a procedure, but he had never once asked me how I was feeling. He chuckled. I know. You're mad I didn't go with you to the prenatal checkup. Let me make it up to you now. Okay. I don't want to. I wrapped myself tightly in the covers. I told you. I'm tired. In my relationship with Noah, I was always the one who accommodated his every whim. I was always the one begging him for things. Refusing him was something I had never done. The muscles of the man behind me grew taut. Audrey. Usually, you're the one begging me to touch you. Is that so? Well, you won't have to worry about that anymore. He said nothing more. A moment later, the bedroom door slammed shut with a loud bang, startling me out of my impending sleep. I looked back. He was gone from the bed. He had slammed the door and left the house. A few moments later, I heard the sound of a car engine starting. I didn't run after him, nor did I send him apologetic texts after angering him, as I used to. Instead, I could finally lie in bed and get a good night's sleep. Noah didn't come home at all the next day. I didn't check up on him, as I would have in the past. Instead, I met up with Mia to discuss our next steps. When she heard I was planning to divorce him, she was so emotional she nearly cried. I knew you'd come back to your senses. You were never meant to be trapped by domestic chores, having to report expenses over $20 to him. I smiled. Just then, Noah called. It's already dark. Where are you? I was surprised. You're home. Usually, after a fight, he would leave me alone at home for at least a week, waiting until my temper had completely cooled before returning. I still had no income, so Mia called a cab for me. Just as I reached my front door, brilliant fireworks suddenly lit up the night sky. I looked up. It was the same as last night. As I was watching, mesmerized, a Rolls-Royce pulled up in front of me. A familiar figure stepped out of the car. Noah smiled at me. Do you like it? Is this for me? What? You thought I forgot about you. He stood beside me, watching the sky together. I had a bit too much to drink last night. I'd already let the driver go home for New Year's Eve, which is why Chloe had to drive me. Don't mind it. Okay. It's so beautiful. I was lost in the fireworks. Noah called my name. Audrey. I turned my head. A flicker of displeasure crossed his face, but he eventually sighed. I know you resent me for the fireworks show I did for her, but she just got back. And your comment. Why would I resent you? I laughed softly. I could see the fireworks you set off for her, too. Wasn't that nice? Audrey. He was stunned. Anyway, thank you. This display is even more beautiful than last night's. He studied my expression. You're not angry. Angry about what? Your childhood friends. And one of you just came back. Shouldn't you spoil her? Noah stood there, frozen. After a moment, a hint of what looked like guilt appeared in his usually cold eyes. He stepped closer, standing shoulder to shoulder with me, and wrapped an arm around my shoulders. Let's go on a trip. You've been cooped up at home for long enough. I thought about my upcoming IELTS exam and shook my head. No, thank you. Home is fine. The arm around me stiffened. But I've already booked it. Then maybe someone else can go. Audrey. He frowned. I chose an intimate getaway. a custom trip for couples. I looked up, the fireworks reflecting in his eyes. If I had heard him say just a few days ago that he was putting effort into planning something for me, an intimate trip for couples, no less I would have jumped into his arms with joy. After all, I relished the title of Mrs. Astor, wanting the whole world to know we were a pair. But now, I just smiled faintly. Thank you for the thought, but I really can't go. His face was a mask of disbelief. I gently removed his hand. It's too cold out here. Let's go inside. I turned and opened the door, but when I looked back, Noah hadn't followed. Instead, he got back into his car, slammed the door with a loud thud, started the engine, and sped away. He was always like this. Whenever we had a disagreement, he would leave me standing there alone. Then he would block all my calls and messages, waiting for me to exhaust my own emotions before returning graciously, allowing the drained and weary me to pick up the pieces. But this time, I didn't even send a single text. I opened the door and went inside. Noah didn't come home for a whole week. I didn't ask. My days were filled with afternoon tea with Mia, memorizing vocabulary, and practicing my speaking. I had also officially completed my re-onboarding process and received an advance on my salary from CEO Mia. The equity transfer will take some time, but I'll make sure you get it all back. Since you got married, our shares have grown quite a bit. Mia excitedly told me about the company's progress over the years. The more I heard, the sadder I felt. You've worked so hard all these years. Just as I said that, a notification for a followed account popped up on my phone. I opened it. It was Chloe. In the past, I was always bothered by Noah's relationship with his childhood sweetheart abroad, because he would always visit her on his business trips. I didn't want them to be too close, but I was also morbidly curious about what happened between them. So, in a conflicted state, I had set her as a special follow. In her latest post, she was wearing sunglasses, sitting in a helicopter, with her arm linked through someone else's for a happy selfie. The caption read, "Who says childhood friends can't go on an intimate getaway?" Although only an arm of the person next to her was visible, the Patek Philippe on his wrist was unmistakably Noah's. I didn't call him to demand why he had taken Chloe with him. I just liked the post and unfollowed Chloe. As soon as I put my phone down, Noah called. "I'll be home for dinner tonight." Oh, I was momentarily confused. Should I save you some food then? Noah's voice was strained. Audrey, don't you know what I mean? I didn't answer. He hung up. We didn't have a maid, because Noah felt it would encourage my laziness. When I got home, I made dinner for two and sent him a message. "What time will you be back?" He didn't reply. I didn't wait foolishly until late at night as I used to. I ate my portion on my own. After waiting a bit longer with no word from him, I wrapped his dinner in plastic and put it in the fridge. I still had vocabulary to memorize. I didn't have time for his games. Actually, studying at home like this was a bit inconvenient. It would be better to go to the library tomorrow, so I wouldn't have to worry about him coming home and interrupting me. The next day, I went to the library. By the time I felt hungry, it was already dark outside. I suddenly realized I hadn't thought about Noah all day. It turned out I didn't need him to have my own world. Just as I was thinking this, Noah called. "You're not home. I'm at the library." "What's up?" He paused for a moment before speaking. "We need to talk. I'll come pick you up." We did, indeed, have things to talk about. I wanted to talk to him, too. Okay. By the time I packed my things and went downstairs, Noah's car was already parked at the entrance. I habitually reached for the passenger door, but a sudden cry stopped me. "Oh, Audrey." Chloe was bent over, a lipstick in her hand. "I'm so sorry, Audrey." I was picking up my lipstick and my hair got tangled in Noah's cufflink. "Please don't misunderstand." Despite her words, the way she nonchalantly pushed aside her collar and shot me a provocative glance held no apology at all. Noah looked at me, then gently and carefully untangled Chloe's hair. As Chloe straightened up, he even protectively shielded her head with his hand, all while looking at me. His cold gaze held a hint of inquiry, as if searching my face for a reaction. I didn't ask why he had brought Chloe along and let her sit in the front, nor did I demand an explanation for why her hair was so tightly tangled. I just smiled nonchalantly. "Your childhood friends. What is there to misunderstand?" Then I opened the back door and got in. After settling in, I noticed Noah watching me in the rearview mirror. His brow furrowed. I didn't know what he was angry about. Was it because I didn't throw a tantrum and demand he prove his innocence, like in the past? What's wrong? I asked. He looked like he had something to say, but it turned into a heavy sigh as he started the engine. Nothing. Chloe glanced nervously at him, then shot me a displeased look in the rearview mirror. Should we eat out tonight? Noah said as he drove. Chloe immediately lit up. Yes. Let's go to that Sichuan restaurant we used to love. I haven't been in so long. I wonder if the old lady still works there. Noah chuckled softly. Hush. I was asking your sister-in-law. I was listening to an English audio with my headphones and was startled. Me? Yes. Noah looked at me in the rearview mirror. Let's go to that Western restaurant where we had our first date. What do you think? Chloe's face fell. I nodded indifferently. Either is fine. Noah kept looking at me, seemingly waiting for me to say more. When I remained silent, he seemed to let out a soft sigh, his grip on the steering wheel tightening with frustration. Chloe gently placed her hand on his forearm and whispered, Noah, be quiet. Noah snapped. I was stunned. That was the first time he had ever been angry with Chloe, especially after they hadn't seen each other for so long. Chloe looked down, aggrieved. Then she glared at me in the rearview mirror. Suddenly, she clutched her stomach. Noah, it hurts. I noticed Noah's hands pause on the wheel. What's wrong? Chloe tightened her grip on the fabric over her stomach. I don't know. It just really hurts. Noah, can you take me to the hospital? Going to the hospital meant turning around completely. The nearest one was miles away. Noah glanced at me in the rearview mirror. But I can't take it. Noah, it hurts so much. Noah gripped the steering wheel tightly. He slammed on the brakes. Audrey, get out. The same old script. Between me and Chloe, I was always the one who was cast aside. But this time, I didn't scream or fight. I just opened the door and got out. Oh, okay. Noah was taken aback. I turned to walk away, but he rolled down the window. Audrey. I looked back. He hesitated. I'll be home for dinner tonight. I paused. Maybe you shouldn't. It looks like Chloe needs you to take care of her. You two can just order takeout at the hospital. Are you jealous? No. My reply was sincere, but a flicker of what looked like disappointment crossed Noah's eyes. I must have been mistaken. If you absolutely have to come back, I can order some takeout for you in advance, I said. He paused. About the finances. I've lifted the restrictions. From now on, you can spend anything under $5,000 as you wish. Oh, thanks. But that won't be necessary. I smiled faintly and turned to leave. I went home. And for the entire night, Noah didn't return, nor did he send any message. I didn't ask. I reviewed the day's study materials and went to sleep. For a full week. Until my IELTS speaking test was over. Noah never sent me a single message. And I, caught up in the whirlwind of exam preparation, seemed to have forgotten he even existed. Until one day, after a follow-up appointment at the hospital, I saw Chloe at the entrance. Noah wasn't with her. I offered a polite smile. All recovered and discharged. She didn't speak. She strode forward in her high heels and shoved a paper at me. I looked closely. It was a pregnancy report. Chloe was 3 months pregnant. 3 months. That perfectly matched the time Noah went abroad for a business project 3 months ago. It's his and mine. Chloe's voice was cold. Her chin held high. I think you know what to do. You, more than anyone, should know who Noah will choose between you and me. 3 months. I looked at the report's description of a stable fetal condition, and a bitter laugh escaped my lips. My eyes started to burn. My own little baby, who had just been lost, was also only 3 months along. The report was suddenly snatched away. Chloe hid it behind her back, her smile a little nervous. You're back so soon. Noah turned to look at me. There were still traces of tears in my eyes. Mr. Astor. I usually called him Noah. I had only called him Mr. Astor during the initial phase of our business negotiations. He frowned and reached for the paper behind Chloe's back. What are you hiding? Nothing. Let me see. Noah easily took the pregnancy report from her. He looked at the report, then at me, and then he suddenly smiled. Are you crying because of this? I didn't say anything. For some reason, his smile seemed tinged with relief, and his tone returned to its usual controlling manner. I was going to tell you later. I was afraid you'd get jealous while you were pregnant. I smiled through my tears. I've already spoken to a lawyer about the divorce. Whenever you're free, we can get it done. My tears weren't because Noah had betrayed me. They were for the child I had lost. Noah was stunned. What did you say? You two can talk. I have other things to do. With that, I pushed past Noah, hailed a cab, and left. That night, Noah came home. A single lamp was on in the living room. I had been dozing off on the sofa while reading, but the sound of the door opening jolted me awake. He stood in the doorway. I've scheduled a prenatal checkup for you tomorrow. Thank you, but that's not necessary. I have plans tomorrow. I'll go with you, he added hastily. I shook my head. That won't be necessary either. I started walking towards the bedroom. As I passed him, he grabbed my hand. In 3 years of marriage, he had never held my hand so tightly. Seeing that pregnancy report today, do you really have nothing to say? I didn't know what he wanted to hear. What am I supposed to say? The hand holding mine trembled, and Noah's voice trembled with it. What about all those things you used to say? In the past, if I had seen a pregnancy report, I probably would have smashed things and screamed at him. I sighed. Would it make any difference what I say? Audrey. Sensing I was about to leave, he pulled me back forcefully. The pregnancy report is fake. I just wanted to make you angry. I slowly pulled my hand away. I turned, took my medical file from a drawer, and handed it to him. But the loss of our child is real. The medical file was in his hands. When he reached the latest page, it fell to the floor with a thud. The $500 I asked for that day, it was to save the pregnancy. My voice was calm, devoid of resentment, as if I were recounting a distant, impersonal event. It was delayed, so all they could do was perform the procedure to remove it. His breathing was ragged. He knew. The delay was because he had rejected my request. So all this time, this has been your way of punishing me. He looked at me, his eyes red. I shook my head. It's in the past. Don't overthink it. A look of despair flashed in his eyes. Don't overthink it was something he always used to say to me. But I wasn't trying to start a fight with those words. I meant them sincerely. I turned and closed the bedroom door. I lay in bed for a long time before I heard footsteps fading away outside. I had my IELTS written exam tomorrow. I closed my eyes and quickly fell asleep. The next day, after my exam, I came home to find Noah, for once, waiting for me. When he saw me, the corners of his eyes were red. Audrey. His voice was hoarse. He walked over and pressed a gold card into my hand. From now on, all my money is yours to spend as you please. Looking at the card, I remembered him saying that all his savings were in this account. During the period when our fights over Chloe were at their worst, I wasn't even allowed to touch this card. Thank you, but I don't need it. I placed the card back in his hand. He stared at me, his hand refusing to close around the card. It took considerable effort for me to make him take it. Audrey. Oh, Mr. Astor. Here are all the financial requests I've submitted to you over the past 3 years. I took a clipped stack of financial forms from my bag. Over 3 years, I requested a total of $987.53. With interest, let's just call it an even thousand. I found a job recently. I'm paying you back. As I spoke, I took out a stack of $100 bills. I placed the money and the forms on the table and looked at him. If you're concerned, Mr. Astor, you can have your accountant verify it. He froze. Then, like a madman, he snatched up the stack of forms and flipped through them frantically. Each form clearly listed the date, amount, and purpose, and each one had the finance department stamp. He looked through the stack over and over, until he finally crushed them in his hand in utter despair. In all this time, this is all you asked for? Yes. In 3 years. The money he had spent on me was less than a fraction of the cost of Chloe's welcome home gift. And yet, he was always worried I was leeching off him. He sank onto the sofa, his arms resting on his thighs, looking utterly defeated. I sat down beside him. He kept his head down and let out a barely audible, "I'm sorry. It's okay." I placed the divorce agreement in front of him. Noah looked up, his eyes widening at the papers. I stood up. "You can think about it. I'll come back for your answer in 3 days." I started to walk out. "Where are you going?" "Oh, I've rented an apartment. I'm moving out today." "But isn't this your home?" Noah shot to his feet. I looked around the room. I suppose it was. Once. He was stunned. Looking around, he finally noticed that all of my things were gone. He grabbed my arm, his eyes red. Why are you leaving without telling me? Who said you could leave without a word? I looked at him. But I've been packing for 2 weeks. If you had paid even the slightest bit of attention, you wouldn't think I was deliberately hiding it from you. His hand froze. 2 weeks ago, he was on an intimate getaway with Chloe. Audrey. His voice trembled. There was never anything between her and me. I just love you too much. Everything I did was to make you inseparable from me. I never thought about us splitting up. Chloe is just like a sister to me. All of that these past few days was just to make you jealous. I pried his fingers off my arm, one by one, and turned the doorknob. Sign it when you've made up your mind. Otherwise, we'll have to settle this in court. For the 3 days I stayed with Mia, Noah constantly sent me messages. From a photo of our first meeting, to pictures from our wedding, to the ultrasound scan I had sent him when I was pregnant. He dredged up every little moment from our past, trying to stir my memories. But in 3 years, there were only a handful of moments worth remembering. In contrast, the number of painful memories was countless. I took screenshots of all our past arguments, all the times he had abandoned me for Chloe, and sent them to him. In a short time, I had over 99 of them. Noah stopped replying. 3 days later, he gave me the signed and modified agreement. I had originally only asked for 30% of the assets, as I had indeed been financially dependent on him for the past 3 years. But he had given me 70%. His eyes were bloodshot, and his usually well-groomed face was covered in stubble. He looked at me. Restricting your spending was just my way of trying to keep you by my side forever. But I was wrong. Now that you're gone, what's the point of having all this money? Consider it compensation for our unborn child. I didn't refuse. I no longer had any feelings for him, so I had no reason to turn down his offer. The day I left, Chloe called me. Audrey, I promise I won't compete with you for Noah anymore. I'm begging you. Can you please put in a good word for me? He's blocked me now. I can't reach him at all. He took back all the gifts he gave me. I don't even have a place to live. You're the only one he'll listen to now. Please, can you just help me? I'm standing on the street right now with nowhere to go. I sighed. I can't put in a good word for you, because I've blocked him, too. I hung up and blocked her number. Up ahead, Mia was pulling her suitcase and turned back to me. Hurry up. The plane is about to take off. I pulled my suitcase along and followed her. Coming.